Hello, 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 friends, and welcome back to my channel. We are here with another pick a card reading. I apologize if you can hear any crying babies or construction noises in the background. I have my windows open to get a nice breeze, to get the energy flowing through my house, which also means that, well, you can hear my neighbor's baby and the people who are having their houses done, the construction that's going down there. Anyways, this weekend, this reading is kind of like a general reading where we are going to be taking a look into kind of what's going on in your energy, and also what you need to know right now. And then at the end of the reading, we will be working with this chakra pendulum board and a pendulum to see what needs to be released, whatever it is we are holding on to on an energetic level that just needs to be let go of in this moment. So I will go ahead and introduce our card selection for today. Option number 1 will be the Griffin. Option number 2 will be the Snake. And option number 3 will be the Camel. How I usually pick a card is usually there's one that just kind of like, it calls to me. It's like I need to know what is behind that card. It's also possible that there is more than one message here. So if more than one is calling to you, maybe you have, maybe it's your lucky day and you've got multiple messages. If you're feeling confused and you don't really know what to pick, there might just not be a message here. Don't worry, I have plenty of other readings up. If you are determined to get a message from me today, I'm sure you'll find one. It just might not be in this particular reading. What else was I gonna say? You are absolutely free to pause this video and try to figure out which one you feel drawn to most. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say now. Do not try to force things. If it's not fitting, it doesn't fit. You don't have to sit and try to force it into whatever, to fit your current circumstances. This is a collective reading. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But don't come at me at the comment section about how every single thing here was wrong and doesn't make any sense and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's just not your reading, buddy. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the reading. Hello, 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 number 1. If you chose the Griffin, welcome to your reading. We're going to start by reading the message from the guidebook for the Griffin. If that message is really resonating, then you have most likely chosen correctly. After this, we're going to work with zodiac and numerology, and if things are continuing to sync up there, extra confirmation. But let's go ahead and find the Griffin in our little guidebook here. And I will say, as much as I do love this deck, I wish that they put things in alphabetical order so they were easy to find, but we'll do what we can with what we have here. Okay, Griffin. The Griffin is a mythical creature possessing the head, talons, and wings of an eagle, but the body of a lion. Thanks to the fusing of these two powerhouses, the Griffin has often been used as a symbol of fierce power and impenetrable protection. While you'll never see one in real life, to see a Griffin in your dreams is a compelling message from Spirit. Thanks to the mythos of this being and the incredible height to which it soars, the Griffin possesses an incredible vantage point that reveals potent truths we can obtain only through spiritual enlightenment, or through tapping into the super consciousness of the divine. If Griffin energy is at play, you are in a rare and fated moment in your life, and it's time to pay attention. Sometimes the Griffin is depicted as being so large it can blot out the sun. In this form, the Griffin is known as Ziz, a creature from Jewish mythology that can also allow the light of the sun to come through if it so chooses. In both darkness and light, there are different experiences and truths to be found. There is a time to sit in the dark in silence and a time to step out into the illumination and warmth of the sun. In this way, we can grasp the divine is in all things. It is both light and dark simultaneously. There is an appropriate time for both, and in this moment, you must discern which you need. And then the meaning for the griffin is the superconscious. So one thing I'm getting right off the bat is you may have something that's on your mind. Like you might be kind of stuck in a phase of rumination, or otherwise, you might be overthinking. And, you know, when I am filming this, we are in Virgo season, so I feel like a lot of us can be in a kind of pensive state at this moment. This might be a regular energy for you, which is, you know, okay. And it's okay to be kind of like trying to figure things out a lot, you know, trying to figure out the self, trying to figure out others, trying to figure out life in general. But let's go ahead and pull from our wonderful numerology deck. And I am going to leave, if you feel really called to this deck, because it is a beautiful deck, I am going to leave a link in the description of this video to this numerology deck. It is absolutely beautiful. It comes with an absolutely stunning guidebook. This is the box that it comes with. Here's what I've done with my box. And as you'll see, it comes with like this nice little spot to put the guidebook, but I keep like crystals, I keep my little scrying orb in there, and it has like an easy cheat sheet right here for each of the numbers, and I'll put some of the video for it in the description of this video that you can watch on it. And if you're feeling called to this deck, you know, maybe think about purchasing it for yourself, because it is really great. And I can't remember if I shuffled and split the deck, so we're gonna do this again. Okay, let's go ahead and see what else we have going on here. We have 2, and 2 is the number of union. It is the number of relationships. Unity, partnerships are being highlighted here. So there could be some sort of partnership that's been weighing heavily on your mind. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. This isn't reading as an overly romantic card. We have like villages here, so this could be maybe about someone within your community, the relationship between you two, or maybe your relationship to your community and whether or not you fit in. Or maybe there's some sort of community that you are trying to build, and you're wondering if you're wondering about your relationship to it, or just some sort of question there. Maybe you're trying to build a home, because these kind of look like home structures. Maybe you're trying to find a partner to build like a home with, and you're kind of, you know, having a little bit of a difficult time finding the right person to build this home with you. Someone who you feel is truly compatible and able to be a good partner in building and maintaining a home with you. I'm going to take those as confirmation barks in the background from Miss May downstairs. All right, let's see what else and what other information we can get. We have Gemini. We have North Node with destined to have. And we have Yang with proactive expression, doing, and forward motion. Okay. So the one thing that I'm getting here, and then Yang energy, which is masculine energy, which in zodiac would be Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. So any of these placements could be significant here. But of course, heavy on the Gemini energy, since we have Gemini popping up and then we have another Gemini putting here, place there. Okay, so the one thing that's popping out the most is a need to stop worrying. I feel like you're overthinking this a little bit too much. Yes, there is a partnership that you are destined for with this North Node popping up. You could also have your North Node in Gemini or your North Node in any of these Yang placements as something significant, or you could be Gemini and your potential partner could have, you know, could have one of these significant placements. So one thing that I'm picking up on right away is the need to stop worrying. I feel like we're doing a lot of overthinking, and then we also have that reflected again with Gemini showing up, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the sign of intellect and communication. And just like Virgo, I feel like we can really get in our heads with Gemini energy present. And Gemini is also a trickster because it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is a trickster. So I feel like there may have been some tricks that you have fallen for along this path towards finding your divine counterpart. Don't feel bad about that. You know, that's everyday life. Everyone falls for a trick or two in their time. No one is immune to that. So don't feel too bad about that. But understand that now is the time to move on from all of, you know, whatever tricks you have fallen for. And then I'm also hearing tricks are for kids. And I feel like you've had maybe a history, especially with all of these signs that are popping up here. And you might have dated a lot of these signs. Like there might be one sign from this Yang energy that you find yourself attracted to a lot. Maybe it's specifically Gemini, take it as it resonates. But I feel like with the tricks are for kids coming through, I feel like the message that's there is you might have had a dating history of dating very immature people who behave like children, people who, you know, children, when you think about children, are inherently very selfish. They haven't developed the mental capacity to really think about others and how their actions affect other people. So you could date people who are very intellectually immature with Gemini showing up here. Like their mentality on life, their mentality on dating, some way in which they are showing up, some way in which they are expressing themselves is just incredibly immature. And I feel like you're going to leave the cycle of dating these immature people and stepping into a new cycle, and that is going to be the cycle of what you are actually destined to have. Now, I feel like the cycle that you've gone through wasn't in vain. I feel like there were a lot of important lessons. I feel like with the Griffin showing up, what it's highlighting is there are a lot of things about yourself that were illuminated through this cycle of the partners that you have chosen for yourself. Each and every time that you have chosen, I wouldn't say incorrectly, because they were correct for you in that moment, because they were meant to teach you something. You were supposed to get something out of those relationships. I feel like you have gotten what you were meant to get out of those relationships, which is why those relationships are no longer present in your life. And I feel like now you are ready to move forward into building a happy and stable home with someone else and finding the right person to be able to do that. And understand that destiny is guiding you down that path. You are going to find that person. Don't give up hope. This could also be, there's going to be a good forward momentum. You're going to be seeing a lot of really good forward momentum in these regards. And I feel like it's going to happen very soon, but we'll get into some other cards to kind of see what's going on there. But understand that, like, finding your person is a part of your path, and that's not something you have to worry so much about. Let's go ahead and pull some more cards here. I love how pretty this deck is. I always like the round or funny shaped decks that I have, but they're harder to shuffle than square decks is my one complaint about that. I absolutely love this deck. I love the box that it comes in. I think it is so pretty. I think it is so neat. I love the messages in the guidebook. I just wish it was easier to shuffle. All right, what other energy is pulling through here? Okay, that feels like a good shuffle. So now we will split the deck and see what we get. Oil of vitriol. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of frustration that we are storing in heart center at this moment. Green is the color of the heart chakra. I feel like there's a lot of frustration in regards to just how our love life has been going in general. There's been maybe a lot of anger. I feel like we may also have you know, shown up in parts of this journey as not our best selves, or maybe we were very harsh with our partners and kind of pushed them away. We, you know, in that same vein, we may have also had partners that were very harsh with us, maybe partners that didn't talk to us very nicely, partners that maybe yelled at us and just acted in ways that are inappropriate, but very human to act in. Not that I am condoning that or saying that you should have to put up with that. It's up to you if whatever damage has been inflicted, it's something you feel is forgivable or not. But it definitely feels like we're holding on to something in heart space, and it's causing a lot of pain and a lot of frustration. All right, let's see what else we can get here. We have patience. Yes, 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 yes. It feels very much like there's some sort of energy within ourselves that we need to learn how to tame before we can come into alignment with the union that is right for us. So we're not ruining that union with the same energy that we've been showing up in previously that hasn't been working for our previous partnerships. And it's going to take some patience, you know. I feel like there's definitely an urge to rush towards this person, an urge to find this person, but we haven't really done the inner work yet to be, or we're just not, maybe it's not that we haven't done, maybe it's something that we are working very hard on, but we just need some patience with ourselves. We're not at a place yet where maybe we're able to be a good partner, and we might be cognizant of that or not. That might be kind of a blind spot for some of us. Let's go ahead and dig into tarot a little bit here. And then there's another thing to mention here, right? So there are some parts of us that aren't going to reveal themselves until we enter into a relationship, and they're like triggers that are very specific to romantic connections. So you may well be someone who, like, while you're single, you're very happy, you're very well put together, you're able to accomplish a lot, you're very level-headed, but once you get into a connection, all of a sudden you become like an anxious mess, or like it just triggers something with you. It might trigger some sort of anger, some sort of frustration. It might remind you of past partners, past pains that you have gone through. And it really exposes like the healing that still needs to be done. So I feel like that's kind of a situation that's going on here. Is like maybe outside of romantic connection, you might be very well put together, but once you enter into these kinds of partnerships, it really has a way of like digging up all of these old hurts that we didn't even know that we were still holding on to. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Two of Pentacles, and we have 2-2, which is, you know, 2 is the number of union. And we had a 2 over here, 222. So yeah, definitely there's some sort of union. King of Wands. Okay. Okay. So one thing I'm definitely gonna say is, yeah, there's definitely a need for balance here. I feel like we definitely are on the search for that divine counterpart with all of the twos here, and 22222 is the number of twin flames, but also just like divine union in general. So I feel like divine union is on the horizon. Keep your search, don't stop searching, but try to keep some balance as well. Remember that this union isn't the sole purpose of your life, that there is so much life to be lived outside of meeting this person and developing a relationship with this person, and remembering to hold on to your individual identity. This person, while this person might make you feel very confident and very good about yourself, they shouldn't be your only source of that. You should have other sources outside of the connection that highlight all of your positive attributes. So this person doesn't have too much power over you. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're giving all of your power away by making your partner responsible for whether or not you feel good that day, because, you know, whether or not they texted you in a manner or a time frame that makes you feel better or worse about yourself. You know, like if they take a little bit of extra time texting you back because they were just so busy, or they were at the gym, or their phone died or something like that, and then all of a sudden in your head they're off running around with Miss Mary Mac down the street. Maybe that's something that you need to work on. The King of Wands can be sometimes related to jealousy, if it is in ill-dignified. So there is that potential there, I feel like, for anger and jealousy if we're not keeping the balance within this connection. That could be something that we might be struggling with control issues as well. And we might have to make sure that we are keeping a lot of practices to help us maintain our equilibrium, so that this connection doesn't have the power to completely destabilize us. We're not giving all of our power away in a way that makes it so that this one person has the potential to completely destabilize us, completely destroy us, because even though it is a divine counterpart, that does not guarantee that you guys are going to stay together forever. It is going to be a very significant connection, but it can still, you know, it can be a little bit too intense with twin flames. And then we have the Two of Wands, so two flames. With twin flames, the connection can be so intense that while it will still be a very significant connection in your lifetime, maybe you guys don't decide to stay together in this lifetime. Maybe you guys decide to stay with karmic partners or choose a different life partner. Take that as it resonates. However, you're the only person that knows your truth. So whatever is not resonating with the truth that you know in your gut and in your heart, disregard it. And it is a journey. This is a twin flame journey, definitely, with this Two of Wands coming up here. And there's going to be a lot of big emotions, because those big emotions are going to be highlighting what still needs to be healed, whatever it is that we still need to work through. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we have going on here. Broken branch with heartache. Yep. Definitely confirmation here. There's some heart healing that still needs to happen before you come into union with this person. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and see what needs to be released using our chakra board. and our golden healer pendulum. So let's go ahead and see what needs to be released from number 1 right now. And it's going right to, so from my perspective, it's going right to heart. It might look different on your perspective on the camera. So I'm getting heart space is definitely one of them. But it's also going towards third eye. So there's some anxiety that needs to be released as well. I feel like we're in the habit of mistaking anxiety for fact. Let's give it a moment. Is there anything else it would like to? Yep, third eye, definitely. Is there anything else? No, feels like that's it. Okay. All right, friends, I hope that you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed being the harbinger for this reading to make it to you through. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye. Hello, number 2. If you have chosen the snake card, welcome to your reading. We are going to start this reading by reading from the guidebook for the snake. And if that message is really resonating with you, then congratulations on choosing correctly. Let's just go ahead and find the snake in here. Okay. Snake, the divine feminine, a spiritual awakening, healing. The snake is one of the oldest known symbols of the goddess, and it has a powerful correspondence in the occult. The snake is rich in meaning and revered in many cultures, with one of the most famous representations being that of Kundalini, a snake goddess believed to be triggered at the start of a profound spiritual awakening. If the snake has graced your reading with its presence, it's likely that you are undergoing this process now. Just as a snake shedding its skin is a sure sign of its growth, you may be experiencing old beliefs or versions of yourself falling away now. Recognize that this is a necessary part of your healing journey. Often, after we've undergone a profoundly difficult or painful time, we emerge on the other side feeling as though we are a completely different person. To fully embrace this new authentic version of yourself, it is necessary to let fall away what must fall away to complete the process of integration, shed the dead weight, and welcome in this healthier version of yourself. The snake may also be a sign that the goddess, the divine feminine, is calling out to you. Say hello. Okay, so if that really resonated with you, then stick around and see what else is in store today. And we are now going to be working with our numerology deck. This is an absolutely fantastic deck. If you are feeling very called to this deck, it comes with this absolutely beautiful box. This is what I've done with my box. So I keep crystals in it, you know, to keep it like charged and cleansed and protected, all of that kind of stuff. It comes with the little cheat sheet for the numbers right there, and then it has this little slot for the absolutely stunning guidebook that it comes with. If you would like more information on this deck, the video will be in the description of this video, where you can learn more about it, and there will be a purchase for option for purchase as well. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. And we have 0. My. It looks like there's definitely some changes. It's reading like moldavite, right? Because moldavite, how moldavite was made was, it's made from a meteor that hit the earth billions of years ago. And the impact from it created Moldavite. So it's something with a really, really big and profound impact. And it feels like that's exactly what's going on here. It's you are being profoundly impacted by something. We also have the skull and crossbones with death going on over here. And we can look at all of like everything that's going on. It's definitely giving warning. Fire hazard. It's giving that we might be flying a little bit too close to the sun at this moment. Yeah. Things are definitely heating up in some way. We might be getting to kind of a point where we might feel like we're about to explode. But it's definitely giving some caution here. We are flying a little bit too close to the sun, Icarus. Let's go ahead and dig into, or that could be kind of like how this awakening is affecting you. It's like, it feels very uncomfortable, kind of like when you're just way too hot. What else do we have going on here? Okay, so oh my goodness, we have Pluto with transform, yeah. So oh my God. I don't know if you've ever watched Big Mouth on Netflix, but the intro to Big Mouth goes, I'm going through changes. And the entire show is about the kinds of changes that you go through when you're going through puberty. And Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio is a very spicy sign. So I feel like this could also be something there's something maybe spicy. It might make you uncomfortable, but not like in a painful way, just in a spicy kind of way. It could feel like you're going through like some sort of second puberty right now is one thing that I'm getting. But there are changes happening. These changes might be uncomfortable. You know, there are all different types of changes a person can go through and experience within their lifetime. Someone might be playing with the snake a lot. Take it as it resonates. So Scorpio could be significant here since it is ruled by Pluto. We have sextile with a combination of tension and flow, potential and rewarding situation. Okay. And then we have cardinal with instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit with Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So those signs could be significant as well as signs that are popping up here. And then Pluto ruling Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed sign. So I feel like okay, so what I'm picking up here is this type of awakening that we are going through. I don't feel like well, there's definitely the discomfort that's associated with both Pluto and this 0 card, but it's definitely, I think the major thing that you're supposed to be getting out of this is it's clearing out anything that is no longer in alignment with your growth, with your greatest and highest good. The only things that are going to be allowed in at this time are things that are flowing easily. And also with the sextile card, I feel like the awakening that we're going through, there are going to be times of discomfort, but there are also going to be times of pleasure, which is probably why both energies are showing up. So I feel like we are releasing. If there is some sort of partner that we have to let go of, releasing energy from the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is our reproductive system, and Pluto, Scorpio does rule the reproductive system as well. So I feel like there's definitely something that's being cleared from our reproductive system. The energy of past toxic partners that might be, kind of weighing us down and holding us back in some way. And I feel like it's going to be both painful and pleasurable. Painful as you come to terms with the fact that this is not a person that you can keep around you anymore. But it's also going to be opening us up to more pleasures of life as we come into contact with people that are still meant to be a part of this path. But that energy needs to be cleared out before we can allow this new energy in. I'm thinking of a volcano. So when a volcano erupts, that lava, it comes down onto Earth, it melts away all of this stuff. But then there's something about that volcanic ash that makes the soil even more fertile than it was before the volcano erupted. And so what is able to then grow is even more abundant, is even stronger. It's going to be yielding more fruits. So I feel like that's kind of what this process is. We have to completely wipe everything out. And then, the ash from everything being wiped out is going to be the fertile soil for something even better to grow. It's going to take a lot of bravery. This is an initiation process as well. You could either be stepping into your divine feminine energy through this process, or things could change and you're no longer accepting wounded feminines into your life, and you're only accepting divine feminine energy into your life, whether it be as friends, whether it be as partners. Just getting rid of toxic feminine energy is something that I'm hearing. All right, let's go ahead and get some more. What else do the cards have to say today? What more does Spirit want us to know? Let me try to get this deck set up in a way that makes it easier to shuffle, because it's a difficult deck to shuffle. There we go. I absolutely love this deck. It's just, I love how pretty it is. I love the art. But my goodness, is she a difficult girl to shuffle. All right, that feels like a good shuffle there. Oh my goodness, we have the Void. Okay. Yeah, it feels like things are just very, very... Here's the thing about the Void. The ether, the Void, okay. The Void can feel at times like an incredibly dark space, but it is in fact the fertile soil for us to be planted in and for us to grow. Think about incubation periods. Think about a baby inside of the womb. We can consider that as like a type of void. And similarly, we can go through these kinds of void periods throughout our life, and it's usually in connection to some sort of birth we are about to go through, some sort of spiritual birth we are about to go through. And spiritual birth is tough. Spiritual birth is very, very tough. It's very, very painful. So it just feels like, we're kind of in this void period right now, and it might be hard to kind of see the way forward because it's just black and inky everywhere. We're not really seeing the light. We're not seeing the way out of this at this moment. And maybe we're not supposed to. Maybe we're not supposed to be understanding how to move forward or how to move on. Maybe we're supposed to just be in this void. Maybe we're supposed to just be still and listening to the secrets that come in the dark silence, which is very much what the void is meant to do. It's meant for us to be still. It's meant for us to be quiet. It's meant for us to tap into our intuition a little bit more. It's not necessarily about doing at this moment. It's about being observant of ourselves, of our internal landscape, and really exploring the deep, dark depths that are happening there, the transitions that are happening there. What else can I say about the void? We don't remember being born. No one remembers being born. And a part of the reason why no one remembers being born is because being born is so incredibly painful. It's like, in order for you to be born, like, you have to dislocate your shoulders. There's a lot of pain that's associated with being born. Giving birth is painful, being born is painful. So there are going to be moments where this is excruciating, where it just seems like the darkness is ever expanding, where it seems like the darkness is just completely consuming us. And that's okay. Allow yourself to get swept up in the darkness. Allow it to consume you. There is peace, there is beauty, and there is truth to be found there. Again, this void is the blank slate from which everything is created. It is the primordial womb, the birthplace of all creation. And it's dark and never ending, but nothing to be scared of. This is the place where you are reborn. And it can seem scary, but if you can start to see the beauty of this dark place, if you can do a lot of introspection and examination, it will transform you in so many wonderful and beautiful ways. All right, and we have sovereign. Okay. Divine feminine energy is definitely coming through. I feel like what's happening now, again, yep. I feel like this is aligning us with divine feminine energy. We have to release a lot of toxic energy here. And I feel like that's exactly what this void is for. It kind of reminds me, addicts on their road to recovery often, well, one thing that addicts have to do as a part of their recovery process is stop associating with other addicts, because you have to cut off any way for the substance to re-enter your life, which means letting go of a lot of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of habits. And that space can be a very, very dark space, because it's then you're just kind of alone and you have to rebuild from that space. You might be going through something similar, and it might not necessarily have to do with addiction, but there's just a lot of energy around you that needs to be released, that needs to be cleared out, because it's just not good for you. And you know, we have to start accepting higher vibrational energy only if we are going to raise our vibration and get ourselves out of this void. And I feel like this is going to be a journey of you stepping into your sovereignty, but how can you expect to step into sovereignty when you are surrounding yourself with nothing but jesters and fools? We have the Page of Swords. We have the Hierophant. And we have the Eight of Chalices. Okay. It feels like we're getting a lesson in knowing when to walk away. Like, we don't always have to react to things. We always don't have to stay and fight. We don't always have to, like, prove ourselves in some way. Sometimes it's okay to just keep your mouth shut and walk away. I feel like this might be a lesson in doing exactly that, and not having to be so stubborn and not having to be brash. This could be also a lesson in how we are communicating. Like, if we are not communicating in healthy ways, one of the things that's going to happen is people are going to leave us, because no one wants to be talked to in a way that's abusive or just like, we don't want people that are just mean to us all the time. That's not friendship. That's not camaraderie. That's not healthy. And again, this is going to definitely be a journey. And then we also have Taurus energy that's showing up here, because the Hierophant is ruled by Taurus. I feel like we're definitely going on some sort of emotional journey here. And we have to really stop and examine our own reactions in there and think about the effects that we have on other people. We have to learn to communicate better is definitely one thing that I'm getting. And then also learning what our truth is. I feel like there's going to be a lot of soul searching that happens here, and maybe there's a way that we have identified previously, and maybe we are starting to change, and what we held as true at one point is starting to feel false. It's starting to feel like an illusion, and that illusion is just completely dissolving away as we continue down this journey. Maybe on our quest for the divine feminine, or maybe on our quest to embodying the divine feminine. All right, what else do we have? Book of Spells, learn. Yep. And then we have the Hierophant, which is a teacher figure. So it's definitely about learning lessons. And sometimes, you know, it might show up as a mentor. It might show up as like a guru, a mentor, a shaman, something like that, some sort of figure, a teacher, a literal teacher, something that we can learn from. It could also be the inner guru, learning from ourselves, getting our lessons. And sometimes it's the universe. Sometimes it is just the universe teaching us our lessons, but one thing that Spirit is saying is you are going to learn your lesson, whether you like it or not. Yes, this is going to be a very tough lesson. You are going to learn it. Then also, maybe look into Kundalini awakening. Maybe look into practices that work with Kundalini energy. We are at 22 minutes as I'm saying this, and then we have 22 on the card. So what I'm seeing is 22, 22. So I'm getting that you are on some sort of twin flame journey, and I feel like this is really, you know, that's exactly what the twin flame journey does, is it's a holding, awakening of its own. So maybe learning more about the twin flame journey and divine feminine energy, or looking into practices that involve Kundalini awakenings to kind of help you through this process a little bit more. How to work with Kundalini energy, what to expect during a Kundalini awakening, what Kundalini energy is. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and see what needs to be released using our chakra board and our golden healer pendulum. All right, what does number 2 need to release in this moment? Oh, she's going right from my perspective, she's going right to the solar plexus, insecurity. We have some insecurities that we need to release. There might be ideas around our personal power that needs to be released. Is there anything else, Spirit? Is there anything else that needs to be released? She's thinking. And now she's going to the heart. Okay, compassion, forgiveness, and understanding. Empathy is something that we can be leaning into a little bit more. There might be some people that were toxic, and it looks like she's done. There might have been some people that were toxic around us that caused us a lot of grief, a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, and we might still be holding grudges. We need to release the grudge is one thing that I'm getting. Whatever grudge we are holding, it needs to be released. Whatever heartache, hurt we are holding in heart space, whatever is making it so that we are not operating from a place of empathy, of compassion, of forgiveness, all of that needs to be let go of in this moment. All right, number 2, I hope that you found this reading to be helpful in some way. I absolutely loved reading for you. I love being the harbinger of these divine messages to make it to you. So I will see you very soon. Bye. Hello, 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 number 3. If you chose the camel, welcome to your reading. The first thing I was going to say is I was scrolling through TikTok just yesterday, and one thing I learned about the camel is their humps. They don't store water in their humps. They store fat in their humps, but the way that they metabolize the fat is for every gram of fat that is metabolized, it's 1.1, like 1 gram of fat is 1.1 gram of water. So like, yes, they are storing water, but not in the way that we think. They're actually just storing fat, and they're actually storing more water through storing fat than if they were just storing water there. It was very, very fascinating. So that's the first thing that I thought of when I pulled the camel card is the TikTok that I watched on that. But we're gonna go ahead and read from the guidebook, and if you if the message is really resonating, then congratulations on choosing your pile correctly. First, we have to find where the camel is in this book, page 73. Camel, travel, a long journey, stamina. Regarded for its ability to travel long distances across the desert, the camel may literally herald the opportunity for travel. Should that be the case, this card is an invitation to embark upon that journey and to welcome whatever it may bring. However, camel energy is really about the archetype of the hero's journey and the stamina it requires. The hero's journey is the outline for nearly every story you've ever read. It encompasses the trials and tribulations the protagonists must endure for their true potential to crystallize, and ultimately for there to be a triumph over evil in some way. It is the oldest story in existence. If you've pulled the camel card in a reading, you are likely embarking upon a metaphorical journey yourself, facing your own trials and tribulations that will test your resiliency. Remember that it is often when the hero faces defeat, exhaustion, and disillusionment that their true gifts are discovered. You may have to dig deep and find parts of yourself that you didn't know were there. Okay. So I mean, there might be some sort of adventure in the cards for you. It might be a physical journey. Again, it might just be a metaphorical journey. Let's get into some more cards here. We're going to pull some more on your energy to make sure that this is all resonating, to make sure that this is actually your reading. And if you feel particularly attracted to this deck, I am going to put a link for it in the description of this video. It comes with this really, really amazing box where it comes with a little slot for you to store the guidebook for it. I put crystals and stuff inside of my box to keep it cleansed and protected. And then it also has a little cheat sheet right there for all of the numbers. It's an absolutely wonderful deck. And again, if you would like to purchase it for yourself or learn more about it, check out the description of this video and the link for it. Okay, we have 9. With this 9 card, it's giving wish fulfillment. Wishing well is something that I'm thinking as I'm looking at this fountain. You know, and sometimes we make wishes in fountains too. I feel like there is some sort of wish you have or some sort of wish that you've made and you're kind of wondering when it's going to come true, and understand that it is about the journey. I feel like we're focusing just on the wish coming true, and we're so focused on when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, is it time yet, are we there yet? That we're forgetting to enjoy the journey. And I feel like that's what's being called for us to do now. I feel like this is confirmation that yes, your wish is absolutely going to come true. You're going to get exactly what it is that you are seeking, exactly what it is that you want. However, Spirit wants you to know that it's not just all about the destination. It's, you know, we spend much more time in the journey than we do at the destination. That Spirit is reminding you to remember that, to learn how to enjoy the journey along the process. You are headed towards exactly where you want to go. Congratulations. This is confirmation on that. But stop worrying about the who's, what's, when's, where's, and why's about it, and just start focusing on all of the pleasure that is still in this present moment, even without that thing that you are seeking, okay? There's so much more to life than just what it is that you're wishing for. You know, maybe you're wishing for, maybe you're trying to win the lottery, and you know, this is your sign that, like, yes, you will eventually win the lottery. Keep playing those cards. However, understand that that is not going to be the make or break moment of your life, and you're going to be so much more than just a lottery winner. There's so much more to life than just material wealth and material abundance, and you are absolutely free to prioritize material things as you see fit. You know, that it's your life. You live it however you want to live it, but understand that there's so much more to life than outside of that. And if you're depending on your metaphorical lottery win to make you a happier person, it's not going to. I feel like the lottery is actually a perfect example, because I feel like the energy of money amplifies who you are already, right? So if you're kind of a terrible person, money is going to amplify that as you are able to afford to do more terrible things and use and abuse the privilege that comes along with having a lot of material wealth. If you are a good person, money is going to amplify that as you are able to give back to communities, build communities, do a lot to better the world through your material wealth. So keep that in mind. If you're expecting whatever this thing you're wishing for is, like if maybe you're wishing for to meet your perfect person, you know, understand that there is so much life outside of that relationship, that there is so much still to experience, and that relationship isn't going to make you a better person. It's not going to make you a happier person. In fact, it's going to highlight all of the healing that you haven't fully done yet. So that's definitely an energy that's coming up here. You are definitely on a journey. You are going to get exactly what it is that you seek. Your heart's desires are going to be manifest in your 3D physical reality. However, don't make it your entire personality, you know? Having a lot of money isn't a personality. Being in a good relationship isn't a personality. These are supposed to be things that complement your life and add more joy and positivity to your life. It's not supposed to be your entire personality. So maybe there's just some character development that needs to be done here before you graduate to your final level. Let's go ahead and get some more cards pulled. Having a nice car is not a personality, is something. Like you might be wishing like that you, like maybe you're wishing for like a Tesla or something. Having a nice car isn't a personality. Spirit is saying, I don't know why that came through so strong. Chiron, hurt and heal. Yep. We're gonna get into that in just a minute. Water, spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. And then also we have Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I did the signs wrong. I got the whatever. Anyways. And then we have Taurus with trust, patience, and sensuality. We need to learn to enjoy the pleasures that life has to offer right now, is what I'm getting. There is still some healing work that needs to be done before this wish can be manifest. We need to explore our emotions. There's some sort of emotion that's behind the wish that we are making that needs to be explored here. And I feel like we are maybe making the wish out of hurt or desperation. And we need to explore that a little bit. You know, maybe we are desperate for money. Maybe we are desperate for love. Maybe whatever it is that we are desperate for, that is going to point out the healing work that needs to be done. Whatever attachments that need to be worked on are behind the wish that we are making. Now, I feel like if we are in a state where we are constantly ruminating about it, constantly being like, when is it coming? When is it coming? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it time? We are learning trust. If we are wishing for something material, because Taurus is a sign of luxury and abundance, or if we are looking, she's also a symbol of beauty. She is divine feminine. And then we have these roses here, which is pretty neat because then we have the rose here too. If we are wishing for more material abundance, learning how to manage that material abundance is something that's coming through. And then there's also some woundings maybe around having material abundance. Okay, and then sensitivity, emotion, intuition, and compassion. I feel like we're going to be learning to trust our intuition a little bit more. We're going to be learning to trust our emotions a little bit more. I feel like we're going to be a little bit more patient with our feelings, learning to show ourselves some grace here, understanding that we are human and that we have hurts, we have wounds, we have things that need to be worked on. You know, no one is exempt from that. And learning just like all of the sensual pleasures that are perfectly accessible to us right now. And I feel like by the time this wish does come true, we're going to be completely in a state of not even caring about it anymore, of not needing it so desperately. That way, when it does enter, we're not developing an unhealthy attachment to that thing. So yes, you are going to get what you want. The way that you're going to get it, your route there is through healing. It's going to come through healing. So focus on, you know, whatever part of you is so desperate for this wish to come through, focus on healing that. And then when you're at a space where you don't even want it anymore, where you don't even care about whether that wish comes true anymore, that's exactly when it's going to come true. Trust the process, have patience with yourself throughout this, and understand that it has to happen this way, because if you receive the thing that you want before you are ready, I feel like it's going to create like some trust issues there, or control issues. Like unhealed Taurus energy can be incredibly controlling. And I feel like if spirit gives it to you in a way where you're still desperate for it, then if something happens and you're too dependent on it staying and being a permanent fixture in your life, then you're always going to be wishing for it. You're always going to be pushing for it. You're always going to be trying to force the situation to be what you want it to be. So it has to come in a way where you are open and receptive to it, but not in a way where you are desperate for it, where you need it, where you are placing too much importance on it. There could be a level of healing that needs to be done around your ability to be receptive, because Taurus is divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is one of receptivity. And we might be in chase mode right now, and one thing that's coming through is allowing things to flow to you, really mastering the element of water here, allowing what's meant to you to flow to you, and allowing what's not meant for you to just flow away is showing up as something that's really important here as well. And doing some healing work around that, allowing things to flow instead of trying to exert dominance and control and making things go our way. Okay, let's go ahead and get some more. What else do we have here? What else is going on? And then you're also going to be, I feel like you're also going to be learning to nurture yourself a lot more, because water nurtures earth. I feel like there's something, whatever you're wishing for, it's like, I feel like what you really want is the nurturing that you think it's going to provide you with. And Spirit wants you to learn how to give yourself that nurturing above and above all, so that you're not creating some sort of codependent situation where you think that you need this thing to feel satiated or nurtured in some way, where you're depending on this thing to do your healing work for you. And there's some work that you have to learn to do on your own and for yourself. Like, this can't be your only source of nurturing. Okay, we have wise salt. Boundaries, 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 boundaries is coming through here. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so Taurus is also ruled by Venus, the planet of love. So if this is, or you know, it can still be for material abundance as well. Like, we might have to set up some boundaries in terms of how we are utilizing our finances if we are looking for some sort of big financial windfall to be bestowed upon us. But also if we are seeking some sort of romantic connection, boundaries is something that we might be struggling with. So I'm getting that we have to develop some sort of boundaries in love and with our material abundance before it will come through. That way we're not ruining it in some way. And then also protection. Understand that the divine timing that you are experiencing right now is a form of protection. Like, Spirit is, and if you are someone, which you should be if you are doing witchcraft, if you are doing protection magic, understand that that protection magic is also going to work to protect you against yourself. And that could be, and that's very much the energy that I'm picking up right now, is that spirit is like protecting you from yourself in some way. So you're not getting the very thing that you want and then just like ruining it in some way. You might be learning how to regulate your emotions with Taurus coming next to water. It would be adding like a very stable energy to the energy of water, which, you know, water is an energy that's very flowing. So adding some stability to the flow, or adding stability to your emotional body, adding, you know, keeping your emotions regulated could be something that you're learning through this time. And that emotional regulation is going to help so that you are not ruining whatever it is, so that you're not going on some sort of like huge, you know, like say that you win $10,000. Keeping your emotional state regulated will make sure that you don't then go on an $8,000 shopping spree as soon as the money is deposited into your bank account. Yeah, learning to control your emotions is definitely something that's coming through here. And the underworld. Yes, 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 yes. I feel like there could be like some addictive tendencies, addictive habits. I feel like doing some shadow work here is going to be very important. Seeing the shadow work that has to be done. Like, whatever you're wishing for, I feel like there is the potential for you to become a slave to that thing, whether it is a partner or whether it is finances. And then to always be seeking validation, always be seeking nourishment from that thing, right? So what that could manifest as is you win $1 million and then you become a slave to that money, right? Like you're then in this kind of state of showing what you have, or then always needing more because you've developed some sort of lifestyle of flashiness and extravagance, and you feel like you have to kind of keep up the appearance of someone having money. And so then you're seeking more and more and more of it, even though you were just given so much of it. And maybe like living beyond your means. But there's definitely some sense of bondage that needs to be healed here. Like, you don't want to become spiritually tied to things that are unhealthy for you, Spirit is saying. So yeah, you're being protected, definitely, because there's definitely a potential for you to somehow become spiritually bound to something that will be incredibly unhealthy for you if it comes in at the wrong time and while you are in the wrong mental space. So you are going to get what you want, but it's going to come in a way that's going to help you avoid becoming spiritually attached to something that you absolutely should not be spiritually attached to. All right, and what else do we have going on here? We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we have the Knight of Swords. Yes, yes, yes. This is all making sense to me. Okay. So there is the potential for you to become very selfish and greedy in regards to whatever this is, where you're always going to be wanting more of it if it comes in the wrong way. Like, I feel like if it's just kind of given to you in a way that's very easy, you're always going to be wanting more, 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 more. And it's going to be like that more, 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 that greediness is going to be like a motivating factor. And whenever you don't get it, like, you're going to just be very, very angry. And it's just going to turn you into like a nasty person if it's brought in a way where your issues around control are not resolved before it comes in. It has the potential to lead to something very nasty. It has the potential to turn you into someone who's very mean, belligerent, selfish. In material form, that would look like someone who, you know, like maybe you'll get it and you won't want to pay your taxes on it, you know. You're going to become one of those like greedy rich people who always wants the tax breaks, who doesn't think that they should have to contribute so much to society because they want to keep all of their money to themselves. If this is some sort of romantic connection, it has the potential to become a one-sided connection, whether it's like you're attaching yourself to someone who's very selfish, and the relationship itself turns into a very one-sided relationship where you're constantly catering to them and then ultimately contributing to your own frustrations because of the one-sided dynamic of the connection. Or you being in the energy of being very selfish and wanting to take up someone's time and emotional resources, and whenever you don't get their time and emotional resources, you kind of fly off the handle, flying into a rage where you feel like it's then okay for you to attack them because you feel entitled to them in some way, or something like that. There's definitely the energy of if this wish comes to you in the wrong way, it has the potential to change you into just someone who you're not meant to be. And that's why it's not coming to you right now. The person that it could change you into, it's not in alignment with your greatest and highest good. And so your spirit is just like, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to give it to you in a way so it doesn't change your goodness. And then also, like, if you're wishing for something material, there could be someone selfish around you who's always asking for handouts and who's kind of like draining you in that way. And, you know, maybe what has to be done here is we need to put up some boundaries with that person, whereas maybe we don't mind helping them a lot, but we have to recognize the difference between helping someone and enabling someone. So we might become the enabler for someone or some people if we are given these things before we learn healthy boundaries for ourselves. So again, in this waiting period for this wish, it is really a period of protection because there's just something here that needs to be resolved before this can come through. And again, how we're going to do that is healing. It's going to come through healing. If we are a person that has as trouble setting and maintaining healthy boundaries with other people, we're going to do healing work so that we are people with strong, healthy boundaries and not people that are going to be taken advantage of. Yeah. I feel like there's definitely a potential for us to be taken advantage of, or it's going to turn us into someone who's very selfish and just way too okay with taking advantage of other people. And Spirit doesn't want that for us. Spirit wants us to be in alignment with our true nature, which is love. So, yep. And then again, we have Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, planet of love, beauty, abundance. So it's like, if these are the things that you want, if you want more beauty, if you want more love in your life, the only way Spirit is going to allow this into your life is through healing. So I feel like this reading is definitely indicative of you being willing to do that healing work if these are the things that you want to come to, because you are getting this wish fulfillment card. So I feel like in regards to that, like, yes, you are going to get your wish fulfilled, and it'll come when you do the healing work that are related to that wish. All right, what else do we have here? Familiar with deep bonds. Okay. I feel like if you have an animal, I feel like spending time with your animal is going to be one way for you to help facilitate this healing to happen. Understanding all of the love and nurturing that is found between a witch and her familiar. In terms of affection and love, and recognizing that love is not something that is missing from your life. Love is something that you have and that you hold and snuggle with all of the time. In terms of abundance, like, yes, I feel like your familiar is one that's also going to help you heal your abundance too. Because animal training, it takes a confident person to be able to train and work with animals. So there's a lot of confidence building that comes through building bonds with your pets and being able to be a confident enough leader for them. And the more that you lean into that connection, the more it's going to do that healing work. Okay. And then the other thing that I'm getting is, like, I feel like this is also like the universe and you, and like how much the universe loves you. And the universe is like, yes, I love you very, very much. And I want to give you all of the things that you want in life. However, you know, maybe you metaphorically have to learn to stop pooping on the floor, or, you know, stealing snacks or something like that. Like, there's just some training that needs to be done here that the universe is going to guide you through. And once you kind of mastered whatever it is that the universe has in store for you, then your wish will come true. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and see what needs to be released in order for this wish to come true. We'll be working with our chakra board and our golden healer pendulum. What does number 3 need to release for their wish to come true? Oh, it's going right to the sacral chakra. Okay, so there is the energy of and the solar plexus. Okay. So there is definitely she's thinking, what else are we getting? Is that it? Okay, so the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. So with the sacral chakra is sensuality, sexuality, pleasure, and sociability. So what I'm getting with the sacral chakra is there is the energy of some past partners. Their toxic energy is still being stored in our sacral chakra energy center, and that energy needs to be cleared out completely before we can get what it is that we want. Otherwise, those connections are going to continue to plague us and, you know, ruin our lives in different ways. So also, our sacral chakra is the energy center in charge of our abilities to set and maintain healthy boundaries. So balancing and clearing out that energy center is going to help you to set and maintain healthy boundaries. And then we have the solar plexus, which is strength, personality, power, and determination. So your relationship, your ideas around what power is something that's coming through right away. Like we may have very specific ideas around what it is to be a powerful person that are just completely untrue and actually stem from a place of insecurity than truth. So I feel like it's time for you to redefine what it is to be a powerful person so that you can actually become a powerful person. Because as long as you have the wrong idea of what it means to be powerful, what it is to stand in your power, then you're going to be standing in the wrong energy, and actually you're only amplifying your insecurity. And that's going to be reflected back at you through the universe. So instead of, attracting healthy partners to you, you're going to be continuing to attract wounded partners to you, because your idea of power is rooted in insecurity. And so the universe is reflecting insecurity back to you through these partners that you keep attracting to yourself. Finding your strength here. The solar plexus is also joy and vitality. So I feel like you maybe had previous partners that really drained you of your joy, of your vitality, of your creativity, of your sense of individuality. And there's definitely some healing that needs to be remedied in order for you to see abundance and passion and love and all of those things that you're trying to manifest flowing into your life. Anger is another. So we store our unresolved anger in our solar plexus. So I feel like there's maybe something that we're like very angry about, or we might be struggling with anger management issues that needs to be resolved before the wish comes true. Spirit isn't going to give it to us as long as we are in this angry and competitive state. Because once we are in this angry and combative state, we are much easier to manipulate, much easier to control, because we are much more prone to giving into our fears and acting from a space of fear. And as long as it is easy for other people to trigger us into fear, it is then easy for other people to manipulate us and to control us. So that needs to be healed, definitely. That way we're not people that are easy to manipulate and control. So, all right, number 3. I hope you got something very important out of this reading. It was a pleasure doing this reading for you. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you very soon. Bye.